Education Summit 2014.
Thank you very much.
You are the Vice Chancellor of Tumakuru University.
Yes.
Could you tell us about this Tumakuru University in Karnataka?
Tumakuru University is relatively the younger university in Karnataka, which was established in 2004. Now we have completed 10 years and we are celebrating decennial year. 2014 and 15 as decennial year. And it has about 91 colleges affiliated to Tumakuru University, and we have 15 postgraduate departments where we have language departments, humanities, social sciences and sciences also. It's a regular basic university with state funding and also funding from UGC.
From being a botanist, a professional botanist and a doctoral in the subject, you have moved on for the last 1 year as a Vice Chancellor.
Yes.
Something, a role of an administrator you have taken.
Yes.
What kind of challenges you have?
Actually, although I was professor, in addition to the experience as professor, I worked as chairman of the department in Gulbarga University. I was academic council member for the period of, for the duration of 14-15 years. And I have also worked as syndicate member and registrar evaluation in Gulbarga University for 2 years. And various committees and meetings, etc. So I have overall exposure to the university functioning and administration when I was in Gulbarga University. So I don't find much difference when I moved from Gulbarga University to Tumakuru University.
From botany to administration, it's a big world
yeah,
of difference.
during the process of this, over 33 years I have learned what administration is also. Because I worked as a controller of examination for 2 years, that gave me a lot of experience. And I worked very closely with the vice chancellors. So that it's not that difficult. And moreover, Tumakuru is a very nice place where people are highly intellectual. They don't interfere with the administration. Rather, they cooperate for the smooth running of the university and academics. So I'm comfortable overall. In such problems.
So what's the way forward for Tumakuru University? What kind of a strategy you have?
See, as I said, it is only 10-year-old, and my first and foremost priority of developing the university was to have a separate land to develop the new campus, and the process of getting the land of 240 acres is almost at its finishing stage. And we had about 15 postgraduate departments. Now I am planning to expand the departments as well as open up new departments. And earlier there was semester system of education. Now I have added CBCS education system, choice-based credit system for the postgraduate studies. Similarly, we have changed the syllabi of postgraduate studies subjects as well as undergraduate subjects, and developing the academics is more important than just developing physical structures. I believe in quality rather than quantity. So whatever is necessary to grow academically and qualitatively, I am doing all those things and addressing to those problems.
We heard you just now on the status of minorities, in
Yes.
Indian society and their education status. Could you throw some more light on that?
Yeah, I studied from the beginning, even when I was a professor or earlier to that, I had inclination to know about the educational system in India, and I have been studying the aspects of social imbalances in our society also, and what is to be done to improve the education system in India. Now, if you can analyze how education has grown in India earlier, only a few people from the upper community had access for higher education. Later in the middle part, and most of the middle class got into the higher education. And due to the good policies of India, especially the reservation system for SC/STs, now we find many people getting education and then contributing to the society. With this background, if I see, Muslims were well educated once upon a time during the earlier days, But during the post-independence era, their access for education has come down. As per the Sachar Committee report, it is based on the census of 2001. Only about 5% of the Muslims have access for higher education. About 4% of the Muslim boys studies in madrasa, whereas the remaining children go to public schools or private schools. But by the time they complete their school study, there will be a lot of dropouts. And only about 4% of the students, Muslim students, have access for higher education. My concern is what happens to the remaining 96% of the boys. We have no access for higher education. Government as well as the society and Indian citizens, all citizens irrespective of the religion, they have to take care of and address to this problem. Where they go when they have no access for higher education, it's more than 90% people, where they go? Students. Maybe they go for as mechanics, petty business.
You mean the underemployment?
Underemployment. Or they may be washing the car or washing the bus and menial jobs they may be doing. Unless we bring them into the mainstream, we cannot think of promotion in higher education or quality in higher education. If anybody says that if we bring the mass into the higher education system, quality will go down, I don't agree for that. It is apparently, it looks like that, but during the course of time, when we give education to the downtrodden or socially backward people,
Even the
marginalized people, there are intelligent people there also. They will catch up and contribute to the society.
So what is Tumkur University doing in this?
Tumkur University is following the policies of the state government with regard to reservation. For example, for Muslims come under 2B, there is a 4% reservation for 2B.
What is 2B?
2B is a category. We have SC, ST, 15% for SC, 3% for ST. Then category 1, they are also backward caste, where some backward Muslims are included in category 1. Like Nadaf, Pinjar, Kasai, Darwesh, Chaparban, these are all Muslim communities. They come under category 1 in addition to other communities of other backward classes. 4% reservation. Then category 2, 2A, 3A, like this there are reservations. But even with that 4% reservation, we will not be able to bring the whole of the Muslim community into the educational system because their economic status is very bad. And the attitude of the parents also, they should be motivated to send their children to the school. No doubt they may send in the initial stage, but they drop out due to poor economical situation, pressing economical situation.
Why not, in that case, why not introduce modern education into madrasas? Let them learn spiritual education. That is a better way to reach out
as
to
per the Sachar Committee report, as per 2001 census, number of Muslim students studying in madrasa is only 4%. Many of them go to maktabs, and the majority of the Muslim children go to private schools or public schools, government schools. Later they fail to continue their education and there will be heavy incidents of dropout. I am more concerned about these dropouts. By the time we think of higher education for them, they are already vanished from the school system or high school system.
So what is the way out?
Way out is to government, including the society, they have to give put special efforts so that they are brought in. They have to, educate the Muslim parents and improve their economic status, improve their, thinking that their children should study. And we have to link the madrasa with other educational systems. That is very important. If only Arabic is, no doubt, it is good. Let them study Arabic. In addition to that, they should also be taught regional languages and English.
Skill development.
So that they, yes, skill level, so that they will be comfortable later and they will get employment. That is very important. Even in Urdu schools in Karnataka now there is public demand. People's representatives are telling even in Urdu schools Kannada teachers should be appointed. English teachers have to be appointed to teach other languages, science, mathematics, so that Muslims can mix, Muslim children can mix with the children of other communities and stay comfortably, and they come into the mainstream.
As a vice chancellor of a Tumkur University, how hopeful are you?
No, as a vice chancellor, I have to work within the framework of the university. As a vice chancellor, I am expected to work as following the rules and regulations of the university. In the university system, for Muslims, there is 4% reservation for admission, which I cannot reduce or increase. It is not under my power. It is the policy. It should become the policy of the government to give some more incentives to that community. I am not talking Muslims as religion, Muslims as a community, because as per Sachar committee, their percent was 13.4. That is in 2001. Now, 2014, their population is probably about 16%. It may vary from 16 to 20%. So 20% or 16% means about more than 20 crore people. It's a big population. So we have to bring them to the mainstream. They are part and parcel of our society and nation. It is duty of all of us, all citizens, including the governments, state as well as central, to promote their education.
Thank you so much.